We back at it again, man. Can we keep it real podcast? What's going on, everybody, man? We got you Friday night lights last night, now we got you the Saturday games today. How's everyone doing? First, thank to the people that helped me make this possible. Shout out to 401 Strength and Fitness. Definitely, if you need to get stronger on the line or any position or any sport, definitely check 401 Strength and Fitness over on the 400 block of Warwick Avenue. Definitely give Emerson a call. And if you're looking to get recruited, R&R Elite Recruits. And a big shout out to Mark Ryder, Presidential Award winner. If you're looking to buy in a home, give Mark a call, 787-5203, man. Yeah. What an exciting week of football it was, man. Some ups and downs, some drama. Hey, we can now stream this live on Twitter. So definitely, if you're on Twitter, you can definitely check this out so more people to see it. Also at Apple, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio was a big one this week. But we're going to bring in our guest official. I guess you can call him that now, I guess, for, just a straight up host. Emerson, what's up, man?
How are you?
All right. I'm starting to forget ways to introduce you. You've been on so much, you got so many hats.
I do.
How are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Nah, not bad. Slow motion better than no motion.
That's it.
Waiting for, the games got over. EWG lost to Davies 6-12. Very close game. Some said it was a shellacking, but, 6-12, sounds like a competitive game. And it was really, a lot of people had questions about Davies coming up until this week. Didn't really know what they were going to bring to the field. So, they beat EWG, which is a solid team.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to pay attention to them. You had the classical Moses Brown game today.
Yes, I did. That was an outstanding game. Moses Brown did end up winning, but shout out to both coaches there. The coaches really did a good job, and it was a really physical game. They were really running that ball hard, and Classical came up a little bit short here, but they were Classical is a good football team, and definitely should be hearing more about them in the weeks to come. They were really doing a good job out there, but Moses Brown did come out with the victory, and taking nothing away from them. They were also being just as physical. And, overall, again, like I always say, it's that good football being played in this state. It really just, it was good to see. And, up front, I'll definitely say Moses Brown offensive line was definitely getting yards. And on the flip side, so was Classical. So, at the end, I believe Moses Brown capitalized on a few of Classical's mistakes, and that's what ended up being the difference. So, but overall, it was a really good showing by really two solid teams.
What was the final score?
20-13.
Neither team, both teams, they, after Willie Edwards left, Moses Brown, they definitely have a struggle, trying to get kids, trying to get players, and so I'm sure they have their struggles over there. So, and Classical, has, what is it, the Buchanan kid, which seems like a very, very good football player.
It definitely is. Definitely had some good highlights there. But overall, it was, it was a good game. He's definitely one of their star players, that's for sure. Kid Buchanan, I believe, is number one. I believe. He definitely made some really good plays, and he's really tough to defend. I give it to Moses Brown for doing what they did, and really trying to show that they're a force there in their division.
I know we talk all the time about plays that we wish we can have back. I'm not sure if you heard about the situation with Portsmouth and Portsmouth and Classical. Mm-hmm. Drops a bomb towards the end zone. Is it a catch? Is it not a catch? Did you hear about that situation?
No, I didn't hear about it. I did see it online. But excuse me, from what I saw, that again, I'm not trying to make anything here or there, but from what I saw from the film that I saw online, that was an incomplete pass.
That's pretty much where I was leaning towards. You couldn't really see, and from an official's perspective, how fast is that play coming down? Like,
well, being so officially, I'm in my official position is an umpire, so I'm watching the offensive and defensive lines, watching to the point of attack, obviously inside and outside the line there. The back judge has that job there, and honestly, that play comes quick. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, literally, when that ball is being caught, if you look back at the film, it's being caught low, okay? And, you do have to make a decision here. And, from what it looked like on the film, I think any judge would decide that ball did hit the ground as it was touching, as the receiving team was catching it. So it was really, those are tough calls. I mean, that's something, but again, that's why we're there. We're there to make those calls. And, as tough as those are, you got to make a decision and go with it. I'm actually reminded of that when I was doing the 7-on-7 league with Coach Dunbar during the summer, and honestly, the same thing happened to me. And I called it. I had called it a catch. So I really thought it was close, and he had grabbed it. And and I understand the perspective of a back judge doing that because it's tough. I mean, and it could go either way. I mean, if you see it, if you blink for 1 second, I mean, that's really how close it comes to. Like, really just the split second there, and it's tough, but that's why the officials are there. I mean, we're there to make those decisions the best way we can, and you got to move the game forward. To me, again, I was not there. As I always say, I never go against a fellow official's decision, but to me, it definitely looked like it was incomplete. It looked like the ball had hit the ground, and then he had taken possession of it. So, and that happened very quickly. So, again, I feel that call was correct.
yeah, I definitely think it was correct. I tried to slow it down. I actually had the video of it in which I was actually just looking for in one of these highlights, but there's so many of them. But I think the officiating has been a lot better after we got through that first week. Like you're expecting it would.
Well, thank you. I think that just like with anyone, just like in the beginning of the season, you're a little rusty. Takes a little time for your mechanics to get right and stuff like that. And I think it's the same way with the officials. I mean, I think we have to be a little bit more on point, I would say, than let's say the players or the coaches. But I think overall, I think as the season progresses, just like with teams, as the season progresses, they get better. Calls are sharper, and overall things are just moving smoothly. I think that it does take a little bit to get into that that season rhythm and just get moving. So, and again, we do have we do have some crews that are that are working hard. I think all our crews are working hard, not some, all of us are, and we're prone to make mistakes. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, people have to understand that. Like, referees are human. Just because we put the stripes on and put our hat on doesn't mean we're superhuman and we don't make any mistakes. Like, we are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. And, it's, sometimes it does affect the game. Sometimes it doesn't. But ultimately, I mean, as a coach, I mean, one thing I've always learned is regardless of what the referees do, you got to find a way to look around that and get around that and keep moving forward. I mean, that's what the best do. Okay, it was a bad call. Okay, what are we gonna do about it? Can't keep crying about it and getting all huffy and puffy about it. It does suck. I definitely get it. Especially if momentum's going in your favor and you got a good drive. I mean, honestly, it happened a couple of times this game. And honestly, it happened on both sides. I distinctly remember Moses Brown was moving down the field, and one of the guys moved, and I had to throw the flag. And I know the coach was like, "What's going on?" Blah blah blah. And it's like, listen, he moved. You know, I know it messes with your momentum a little bit, but it's okay. As a coach, you got to realize, okay, yeah, this happened. We got to rebound and keep moving. So, but it is what it is. But, you know, again, you know, all of us officials here in Rhode Island are doing the absolute best we can to get stuff done. And, you know, just got to keep working and keep moving.
I actually have the play right here. Before we bring Coach Fortin up in here, of course, our buddy Felix slowed it down pretty good. Um, so that's pretty much what we seen, what everyone else seen. And I think the ruling on the field was correct because you could see that corner right there. It looks like it hits the turf. He made a great Julian Edelman catch. Can you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah. So the one thing I see, and again, I see how the ball is. Yeah, like you said, that point came down, and honestly, he didn't have really, from this vantage point, really have possession of it. That's really the key right there. That's really it right there. That's when the ball is touching the ground. He's starting to get possession of the ball, but the ball is touching the ground. So that as soon as that ball touches the ground, you don't have possession. It's incomplete.
Emerson's like, what is that guy's name from the NFL? Dean Blanchino, that used to come in and explain the rules on the field. But yeah, there was definitely some great games. You want to stick around, Emerson? I'm gonna bring Coach Fortin up in here.
Oh, of course.
Let me get Coach Fortin up in here. My boy Cliff Fortin in his house.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
All right, how we doing, Coach? How's everything?
Pretty good.
How was your game today? You look pretty chippy.
Well, we had a hard-fought game. We lost 12-6. Sometimes it goes that way. And shout out to Davies. They had a great game plan. They came out. They executed better than we did. We turned the ball over way too many times and missed tackles. And you're not going to win football games that way.
So you got to get back into the locker room, back on the practice fields, figure out, you got good coaches, and I'm sure you guys will bounce back for your next opponent.
Yeah, we're just going to have to look at the film. We're going to have to look at the things that we did wrong and fix the things that we did wrong and, get back into the grind. I told my players when the film goes up, we will look at the film, we will learn from our mistakes, and then we will move forward. We have to, we can't sit there and let this loss take everything out of us. It was a loss. It was a bad loss, and it's time for some humble pie. So as of tomorrow, we'll get ready for Smithfield.
Now you had a player that was hurt, banged his head a little bit. Is he okay?
Yeah, he seems to be fine. They took him to the hospital for precautionary reasons. And I gotta say, I got so much respect for Davies. Our kids lined up. To wish their player good luck, and he did the same thing. So there was two lines of two schools, all the players. I got a lot of respect for Coach Cabral and the Davies football program. That was a very class act. I like that, and that's that's what football's about. He's a good coach, good staff, and a very good program. I think I told you before, and I told my staff this game had me a little nervous because of the matchup and the way they play, the way that we play. They got the best of us on this, and kudos for them.
Well, you did not go into this game thinking you were gonna kick their butts. You did say Davies could be a problem, and I mentioned earlier to someone that we were waiting for this week to see how Davies was. But going back to when these kids get hurt, you mentioned that they was a respectable team. Isn't that what all schools and teams are supposed to do?
For the most part, yeah. All teams do that. I hope so. I can't speak for all the teams out there, but I know that my team definitely does, and we know that Davies definitely does because that's what they did. And that's just the character of the team. So again, and I told each player and I told the coaching staff when they did it, I got a lot of respect for them. And you don't want any player to get hurt and to leave in the ambulance. I'm very, thankful that I have already been speaking to the mother, and he's doing good. They're just waiting for some X-rays, and hopefully he goes home shortly.
Nice. So now you got a big game coming up next week.
Oh yeah, now this game, it becomes an even bigger game. They're undefeated. We're 1-1. So now it's we got to get back to the grind, and we got to put this loss behind us and study the film and get better collectively.
That's it. Coach Cook, he said he'll be on today, so hopefully he'll come around. Juanita Sanchez ended up putting 44 up on Tiverton.
Wow! Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's one score that I just I figured I wanted to get you. Tiverton, another struggling team. They'll bounce back. They should be okay. But Coach, thank you. Any last words for all your fans out there?
My fans. I want to thank everybody who went to the game. There was quite a few people who went there. And again, much respect to Davies and that coaching staff for what they did when our player got hurt. And same thing, there was a lot of players that went down. A lot of players on their end, a lot of players on our end. It was a hard-hitting game. I'm very thankful that everybody, except for one of my players, that were able to go home with the team. So, if Coach Cabral sees this or any of his players, much respect and, good luck for them for the rest of the season. And again, we're just going to do our part to get better and prepare for Smithfield.
What do you think about this guy, Emerson?
Coach, how you doing?
What's going on, Emerson? Always great to see you.
Absolutely. Hey, man, I know Cliff's doing a good job down there. I mean, the tough loss today, but as he said, you got to bounce back and look forward to next week, and that's honestly a mark of a good coach. So, we got a long season ahead of us, and like I said, it's any given Sunday, every given Friday, every given Saturday, things that happen. So, I'm expecting good things from Exeter West Greenwich down there, and and I know how you do things down there, Cliff. So, I know it's going to be a good week of practice and moving forward. So I look forward to see how you guys progress during the season. And of course, I wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate that. We're faced with adversity now. We got our first loss, and now we'll see how we bounce back. We'll see what the Knights are about. We'll see what the character of this team is. And it was a long ride home. They hopefully they were thinking about what happened with the game, and I know that once the film's up, we'll watch film and we'll learn from this and take this opportunity to get better.
They were thinking about practice Monday.
Yeah, if we won, they had Monday off. We didn't win. We're practicing Monday.
That's what they were thinking about. Be another tough week of practice, but that's what makes them better. So shout out to coaches like you. And, I think Division 4, like I've been saying all year, is going to be interesting. A lot of people kind of sleeping on it. It's Division 4. You hear that in college too. So
it's the best division in Rhode Island right now. The competitiveness is great. The teams that are playing, you can't ask for anything more than that. We're out here, we're competing, and it's very competitive every game. So, and yes, I am biased because I'm in Division 4.
That's right. I was watching Woonsocket a little bit on the game. Fourth down, they give up an interception. Cranston East runs it back, turnover on down. Woonsocket ends up winning 14-7, but a lot of teams are getting hit with the injury bug early this season.
Yeah, we got a couple ourselves. So we'll like I said, we'll bounce back and we'll look at film and we'll learn and we'll get better.
All right, Coach Fortin, I'm going to have to add your score to the little ticker down the bottom. And when you see King Cook, tell him get at me. I'm waiting for him.
Yeah, we will do. All right, thanks for having me, and I'll talk to you soon. And Emerson,
I'll talk to you soon, Coach.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
He was he had his humble pie. He wasn't too upset about that loss.
No, and honestly, Mike, I think someone in Cliff's, in Cliff's position, you have to learn from these losses. I've got to know Cliff over the past couple of years here, and I know he's not the type of guy who thinks he's just going to step on the field and beat a team just because of him and that. So I really do think that it's good to see. And others should follow in that footstep. Okay, you know what? We had a loss, and it was a tough one, and we're gonna go back and look over that film, and we're gonna move forward and get better. I mean, that's a mark of a good team and a good coach. Just not sitting there making excuses, this and that. This should have went our way. This didn't get our way. The referees, the wind, the sun, the moon. There was no excuses whatsoever. It was a tough loss. It is what it is. We're going to learn from this and move on. And that's really what needs to happen. I know that that he said they're playing Smithfield next. That's going to be another good challenge for them because I did their game 2 weeks ago versus North Providence, and they're a really solid team. But it's those type of games that really bring out the character of your team. So I'm interested to see how this goes with those two teams coming up this week. That should definitely be a good game.
I like Smithfield, what they were doing. They got down behind yesterday to Hope 14-0. Hope actually had a good chance to win that game, and then they turned into a fumble machine.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Right. And listen, it's football. Those things happen. Those things happen. So, but like I said, I really think that Hope's going to be one of them other teams too that and hopefully in a little bit they start picking up wind and start winning some games there. But I really think next week with Smithfield and Exeter West Greenwich, that's really going to be a good game. I really think that's going to be something that's going to be a game that's going to kind of start the cream's going to start to emerge to the top there. So that's I'm definitely interested in seeing how that one goes.
Any teams that you are like really surprised in, that really turned the corner, or maybe a coach that sticks out that said, "Wow, he's maturing,"
Me,
Michael?
honestly, so I know the majority of the head coaches in this state, and honestly, they're that's kind of a tough one because honestly, knowing all of them and knowing how they are. I mean, again, a lot of the coaches I know, they've won some good games, they've lost some really tough ones. So it's kind of all around. Like we have some really solid coaches in the state. Like there's not, I'm not really here or there with any of them. I mean, a lot of them are. Doing a lot of them are doing the best they can what they have and having success. And honestly, yes, there's going to be others that are going to struggle a little bit. But honestly, all the coaches I've come in contact with or know, are really doing a good job. So honestly, there really aren't that many surprises. I mean, I think that the emerging power in the state here is actually St. Ray's. I think they're one that would be. If you're going to mention any team right now that's kind of making waves, I would say it would be them. I think that they're doing a really good job over there, and they're going to continue to do so. I think I think possibly another team that's going to probably shock a couple of folks is Central. I think they're I think they're primed and ready to do so. I know Coach Washington's doing a great job over there, and continues to get stuff done. So I know that'll be the case. And I mean, like I said, we do have some really solid coaches here. So I mean, that's really the big thing. They know what they're doing. They're working with these boys, these young men, and really really doing what they need to do. So, but yeah, I would say those teams are probably my ones that are like, yeah, it's always starting to emerge here. I'm definitely interested to see Central as they move forward, as they continue to play in the Division I schedule and see how that goes. So, but yeah, I'm definitely, I'm definitely interested to see how things start shaping up in the next couple of weeks here.
If I could say a coach that I think matured leaps and bounds would be Michael Washington at Central High School. The difference in him in 3 years is night and day. I remember him. He wanted to be that player's coach, be friends with everybody, tightens up his bootstraps. He gave a great example why he had to do that. I really think he matured greatly. I think Charlie B-Ball is matured into a great, great coach. 2 championships before he's 31.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Dunbar, Coach Simpson. Coach Dunbar got a great, great win against Rogers, and I would say that's probably got to be Coach Dunbar's biggest win of his coaching career. And there's a guy that's been around Rhode Island football for a long time, being a URI alumni, St. Ray's alumni. Mm-hmm. So I can go on and on. Coach Simpson, what he's been doing the last couple of years. So there's definitely a lot of great coaches in Rhode Island.
Absolutely. And those, obviously, even those that you mentioned and I didn't, I mean, they're definitely doing good things here. It's like I said, it's good to see, and it's been honestly a long time coming here. So I'm glad to see that, we have guys, and honestly, and no disrespect to guys that are older than some of these coaches, but a lot of, younger guys really, taking the horns and really, really doing their thing here. I mean, it's really a good thing to see. And again, I mean, even, Coach JD, for example, at Tolman, he's one that's, he's kind of like an unsung hero. I mean, I know I work with a couple of their kids, a couple of those young men, at my gym. I know a lot of them because I used to work in Pawtucket. And Coach JD, the coach named Coach Mark Gorman, they really do a good job over there. And Tolman's really one of them teams that they're there and they don't get as much credit as they should, but those coaches over there are really doing a good job with those young men. And I officiated one of their games. They played against Pilgrim. They didn't win, but it was a solid game. And at the end, I mean, everyone knew they played each other, and it was really good. But Coach JD is another one who definitely deserves a shout out here because he's doing good things at Tolman as well. And again, there's a lot of coaches, and I do hope coaches don't get offended if we don't mention them, and they're doing a good job here. But the ones I've been coming in contact with have known over the past few years here, they're really stepping up their game. They're really doing a good job here. So, and that's what these young men need, as a whole. So I'm definitely glad to see that they're doing well. Obviously, Coach Dunbar, what he's doing, Wesley, is a 500 total offense.
Oh, yeah, 500 yards he had. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, 53 to 12. The only points coming on 2 punt returns. So they really got to straighten that out because you allow a contender to get two returns,
right,
for scores. You can't allow that.
Nope,
now, saying Rogers isn't a contender, but
right.
We know down the line what Wesley has to deal with going into the playoffs. You got St. Right now, people are saying it's St. Ray's, and Westerly seems to be the cream of the crop in Division II. No disrespect to any other Division II program. Coach Wes Pennington, great program.
Right.
A lot of good Division II programs. Coventry doing their thing over there, even though they didn't play this week against St. Ray's. So there's a lot of good programs, a lot of good coaches still out there.
Well, the other big thing too, from where I see it is, this is a long season. We're right now we're the end of September, okay, and really October. Once you start getting into the October schedule, things really start rolling. I mean, that's when the surprises come. That's when there's going to be a team that possibly no one really thought about was going to start creeping towards the playoffs. They start creeping towards the playoffs. So it's really anyone's game here, and that's really for all divisions. I had the opportunity to referee, officiate the Hendricken East Greenwich game yesterday, and I believe the score was 42-7. I believe that was the score. But
right there, 42-7. Yeah, it's on the.
And so the one thing I will say is that yes. Again, Hendricken did a good job and did what they did, but I mean, there were glimmers of hope there with East Greenwich. I mean, again, the score is indicative of what I'm saying, but it's really there was a few times that East Greenwich, was really kind of marching down the field a little bit, and Hendricken really didn't have an answer to it. And again, I know the first series. Keep saying extra. Forgive me. East Greenwich had the ball, and literally marched it down. Unfortunately, it ended with an interception, but they were moving, and they were starting to gain some momentum, and that happened a few times. And again, that will happen during the game, but ultimately, it's like it wasn't just a dominating. They didn't get anything. Constantly 3 and out. I mean, they were doing some good things. So. And again, it goes, and I give credit to East Greenwich there because honestly, they kept fighting. They did not care who was on that field. Like they did not give up. And again, obviously Hendricken, did come out with the win. But ultimately, it's a credit to those guys. These guys are really, doing the best they can with what they had. And honestly, they were still doing their thing. So, I mean, shout out to those coaches there for, working with kids and telling them, you fight to the end, doesn't matter what the score is. I definitely saw that. So, but it was good. That was good.
North Smithfield, Mount St. Charles is another team. Had a great game against Johnston High School. Competitive game. They were right in it, going all the way down. Johnson wins by 10 at the end of the game, but Coach Private comes on. And for a team that loses, you ask him, how was the game? And he says, good. And you're like, whoa. And then he explains to it that, you can have a loss and still have an accomplishment as a team. See some good things in there. And they lost a lot of guys last week. Good thing they were able to develop and get them back. But I think North Smithfield, Coach Piper is doing an excellent job, had great leadership in West Pennington. And I had them two guys on today, and it looked like Coach Piper got a little emotional when West Pennington was talking very highly of him.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something to be said when, a coach that moves on, and another coach steps up and, that coach that moved on is saying good things about you. I mean, it's obviously true and from the heart because, he's obviously, he worked under Coach Pennington and, he's not going to lie to him. He's not just, he's not just, saying that just to say it. I mean, I know Coach Pennington, says what he means. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, there's a lot to be gained from losses. I mean, there's lessons to be learned, and the really good coaches really understand that, regardless of what the score is or what happens or how it happens. There's a lot to be learned from, when things don't go your way. I mean, it's not only a football lesson, it's a life lesson. Okay, you learn what you can in that situation, and then you move on. And you take those lessons and you apply it to the next time that you're going to be on the field or you're going to be coaching, and you become better. And that's really how it goes. You're not going to win every game. I mean, yes, there might be seasons you're undefeated, and I understand that, and that's definitely a good thing. But I mean, sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. Right? You got to be a graceful winner and a graceful loser. And it's part of that grace of losing is like, okay, well, hey, I lost the game. Okay, what did I do wrong? Let's improve in this area so it doesn't happen again. That makes you get better. Then you move forward. So, there's a lot to be learned when you don't get that W. But, it's just good to see that coaches are, experiencing. Again, obviously, coaches are going to have to move on. Obviously, you have a season to play. But to be down and beat yourself, because it's happened before. Like I've seen it, I've seen coaches be down. Like, I can't believe you lost this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, Coach, that was 2 weeks ago. You got, you have more on the schedule here. So it's really good to see. And honestly, losing a tight game, it really only makes you better. It really does. It's really just, you learn from the mistakes, you tighten up those areas, and you become a better football team. You become a better coach. You become a better player. If that guy beats you, you're taking a zone step to the right and the guy beats you. Okay, that's what you work on in practice for the next week, so that doesn't happen again. I mean, that's really how it should be. And again, that's how you get better. You get better as a player. You get better as a coach by doing stuff like that. So, again, it's good to see that coaches are taking, that mentality and applying it. And, it's only going to benefit them in the long run.
No, you're absolutely right. I remember a coach telling me that as a team, if we let the referees dictate a game, then that's our fault because we shouldn't have had our team in that position.
Right.
So I was just thinking that when we were talking about the Central Portsmouth situation. And, yeah, definitely. Well, next week we'll be in week 4, so we'll have almost a third of the season. October 31st is the end of the regular season. We get a lot of football left, but it goes fast. Coach Blake was a little upset because his team in Tollgate didn't get a chance to play, and I can understand that. Like Coach Dunbar said, there's only 8 games, 9, 10 games if you make the playoffs in a season, and that's not a lot of games. So you want to play every game you have. So hopefully we don't have to experience a lot of that this season, with games being canceled because it's really hurting a lot of these kids.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate that this is happening. I mean, obviously we're still in this pandemic here. Regardless of what people feel about it, we need to be safe. We need to be careful, obviously. But ultimately, the safety of the players, the coaches, the officials, the med staff, everyone that's involved with football has to come first. So, and again, it's driving us nuts. I mean, you're ready for a game. I mean, I can only imagine how Blake felt. You find out like the day before or the day of, or wherever it was. Oh, by the way, you're not playing. It's like, that energy could have been put towards something else. So, okay, if we're playing like a bye week, you have an extra week to focus on, your opponent. So, it's kind of things like that. You know what I mean? That sting. But ultimately, this is the time we're in right now, and safety has to be the top priority.
And there's no really chances to even these games are scheduled so tight. Like someone said, well, how come they can't make it up on Monday? Because you got to be ready to go on Friday again.
Right.
And now you have 3 days that these kids need their rest. You got practices that don't fall into protocol, and it's just not safe. Division 4, you might have the room, but I know Division 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3, their schedule is booked up solid.
Right. And, there is no wiggle room. You're exactly right. There is no wiggle room for that. So, but again, it's a tough pill to swallow. I definitely understand. But again, you got to pick up the pieces and move on.
All right, Emerson, man. Thank you very, very much, man. What's going on at 401 this week? Anything?
Nope. Just having my regular classes here. I do have a couple of student athletes coming in here. Obviously, it's been a little slow when it comes to that, because obviously it's football season. I do have other teams in here. I have a basketball team. I have a couple other folks coming in. So it's just been steady, but, I still do my thing here at the 401 Strength and Fitness. Folks wanting to get in shape, and, athletes, really wanting to push and work a different style of workout to, be functionally strong and really get things accomplished on the field. The one thing I will say, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but one of the things I will say is that, I know a lot of these head coaches, and I know a lot of the players. And one thing I always do is, if I know that, one of my players is playing, that I have trained, I'm always going to ask the head coach, how's this young man doing? How is he performing, blah, blah, blah. And it's all been nothing but absolutely positive things. When the coaches tells me that, he came into preseason camp better than about 80% of the other kids, and, he's one of my clients, I'm very happy to hear that, because I'm helping this young man achieve on the field, and that's why I do what I do. So again, it's really good to see these young men, once I'm working with them, getting on the field and really getting stuff done, and that's both honestly in youth and in high school. I mean, I had an opportunity to stop at Edgewood Eagles, because I work with them, and literally the coaches like, Emerson, the kids that worked out with you, you can tell. And that's all I need to hear. They did get into a little bit more description, which is fine. But ultimately, the kids that were working with me were leaps and bounds better than the kids that weren't, and leaps and bounds better than the kids that they were playing against. So, it really is an advantage. I take pride in my work. I want to make sure that all these young men and young ladies that step into my gym get the absolute best. And, that's what I'm about. So, again, 401 Strength and Fitness, 400 Warwick Ave, number 7. Come give me a visit. Student athletes, and it's all sports. Obviously, I'm a football guy, but the way I do my training, it works out all sports. I've had all sports in my gym. From basketball, soccer, lacrosse, you name it, they've been in there. So, and obviously football. So, if you're interested in that, please give me a shout. Again, 401 Strength and Fitness, 400 Warwick Ave, number 7.
There you go, and you welcome teams, crews, regular one-on-one training, whatever it is, all sports. It ain't just football.
Nope.
Because we're trying to get better as a whole. So, and
yes.
I see you got some females in there earlier on in the day working out. I said, them girls make me look weak.
Yeah. Those ladies, those are some of my first clients there. They really do a good job. They've been working with me. Next month I'll be open for 1 year, and literally those two ladies that you saw there, they were my first two clients, and I've been building since then. And they really pushed, and they really do a good job. They're pushing. Some of them are pushing just as much as me as everyone else in the gym. So it's really a testament to their work ethic and getting it done. But yeah, that's my 9:15 class. I have a 9:15, 1 o'clock, and 6:30 daily. So it's also other classes in terms of TRX. Obviously I offer Kid Fit for my younger clientele. So no weight, more of obstacle, more of a fun way to work out. So I definitely offer that. And we offer yoga as well. So we also offer Zumba. So again, it's a complete gym, as I like to call it. I like to work out entire families. We offer family packages if folks are interested. But ultimately, that's what the gym's about. It's a community gym. Get folks in, get them in shape, get into their fitness goals, get into their sports goals, and have them walking out being, knowing that they've achieved working out and finishing a workout, and that workout's going to make them more successful as they move forward. So that is what I do and what I like to do and will continue to do. So again, if this interests you, please look me up. 401 Strength and Fitness, 400 Warwick Ave, number 7.
Yeah, it's very, very nice place. Very clean gym. I got to say, it's one of the cleanest gyms that I've seen, and you go inside there, you don't even smell the sweat odor, like Grundy's gym used to be in Central Falls, or some of them old boxing style gyms. You go in there and you're in a gym.
Yes. I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
401 Strength and Fitness, Emerson Kilgore. Thank you. He was a great co-host today. Look at that. You made for this. You might see you up on there in ESPN taking Stephen A. Smith's job.
Oh boy.
I'm riding with you. All right, Emerson, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything.
All right, Mike. Have a good one.
All right, we'll talk soon. Emerson Kilgore, 401 Strength and Fitness. Like you said, 400 Warwick Ave, Unit 7. You can't miss it. See these logos you see plastered all over the place? Well, you'll see them logos over there. So, you see the scores at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, everybody. We now have this live streaming on TikTok. So, follow the originator and not the imitator. You can copy some things, but you can't copy respect. This is your guy. Come on.
Can We Keep It Real Podcast Network. Shout out to Can We Keep It Real Podcast and Network.
You nervous with butterflies in your stomach? Don't try to intimidate me. You couldn't scare me with lip. I'm spontaneous, smart, dangerous, fancy and quick. My trainer told me to work. He ain't prepared me to quit. I'm the only captain who's sailing this championship.